Hello Internet, it's Andrew Michael and welcome to today's Crapshoot Wednesday video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a regular OBS tutorial and how you can get it all set up and how you can have really good recordings and really good streams with using regular OBS. Really, I've been using OBS since 2017. And I've been using it since the very beginning of when I was trying to do it and a little bit before then, but my computer, probably just like yours when you're looking at here, is probably not the greatest. And your internet connection when you try to stream is really bad, and you can barely even do a stream at 480p 20 FPS. Now that was my scenario. I couldn't even stream at 30 FPS at 480p because my internet was bad and my computer was really bad. But because I had this new gaming computer that I've been using for about more than a month, and you can see here, my CPU usage is only at 3-4%. Whereas on my dual-core CPU computer with no graphics card, this is a 60-70%. This has no droppage at all, and I'm hanging at 60 FPS for really just for the recording. But you're not here for that. You're here to see how you can set up OBS and what each and everything does. So if you are new to using OBS, then I will be walking you through this. So there was an app for OBS, and it was called OBS app, where it was a stream estimator where it could auto configure OBS for you. But OBS has discontinued that, and they said you can use an auto configuration wizard. So if you already have OBS already downloaded and you have not used the auto configuration wizard, what it will do is it will go through here and it will basically change your settings to where it's recommended for what it'll do. So what it'll do is it'll do like a test stream on its own, and then it will go from there. And another thing is, let's say if you, like me, you're wondering where's my webcam at, I want to get it done as quickly as I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of these little sources, and I'll tell you what each one does. So audio input and output is obviously if you have like another speaker you want to use or another thing like that. I've never used it before, to be honest. Now, some people might do that, some people may not, but honestly, I don't even bother using it. Now, browser, obviously, what it does is it outputs a web page with the URL. So if we clicked on this, we made a new browser, what you can do is obviously whatever URL you put here, it then displays it right there. And basically, it's like whatever you want to use, you can go from there. But we don't need that, so we are going to remove it. And it's gone now. Obviously, as you can see here, let's say another big thing you're probably wondering is, well, how do I do a gaming video? How do I, mix my audio? How do I mix all that? If you have an Elgato game capture, or if you have Elgato game capture, the Elgato HD60S like I do, or the Elgato HD60, or the HD60 Pro, what it also has Elgato sound capture, and that sound capture has its own built-in recorder. So let's say if you have your Elgato HD60S, you can go through your settings. Here where it says line Elgato sound capture, this is basically what's going to be pulling in your audio from your switch or whatever. But like I said, that's one thing that you can do. Or let's say if you have a video capture device here, what it will do is, let's say for instance you have your little capture right here, but I don't have mine on me. What you then do is switch this to direct sound or waveout. That will also output the audio for whatever you're needing, so that's another good thing to use. Now, another question you're probably going to have is, well, what do I use for chat? How do I make it to where it's transparent or if it shows on screen? Two things you can do. You can do a window capture, which will basically display any particular window, or you can use browser, which takes in the URL of your chat box and then displays it where this little red highlighted box is right here. Now, another thing that I'm using is the display captures, is how you're seeing this, and how I'm making it to where, you can see this is really if you go to your settings. What I've done is I've made my bitrate really, really generous. Well, actually really low. Now, I did the speed test, and basically how you determine your video bitrate is your upload speed. But it'll do it in megabytes per second, and you just want to convert from megabyte per second to kilobyte per second, and that will put in your bitrate, and that basically gives you as much leeway as you can. Now, another good thing for anyone who's using the Elgato Game Capture HD for that is the software on there. If you adjust your bitrate to it, it will tell you what settings you should stream at. whether you should stream at 480p 60 FPS or whether you should stream at 480p 30 FPS. So if your internet connection's like mine and your upload speed is at 1.0 megabytes per second up to 1.5, I believe, then you're going to be streaming at 480p 30 FPS. And if you're in between that 1.5 to 1.8, you'll be streaming at 480p 60 FPS. And then from there on, it gets better from there. Now, if you have an upload speed of 2, then you're going to be doing 720. But because my internet is a little bit bad, that's why I'm doing 480p 60 FPS. But if I'm doing like a stream, I would put it at 30 FPS just to give my computer and my capture software a little bit more leeway to work with. Now, another thing you can use, let's say if you have a banner, or let's say if you have an overlay you want to use, one thing you can do is image. And this image source basically takes in whatever image you have on your computer and goes from there. And whatever image there is, probably the overlay, you just put it in whatever corner, and then you put your webcam and whatever box you have. And also another thing you can do is, let's say I'll just find a random image and I'll just put it here. Actually, I'll just do it with the game capture thing. Now, what game capture does obviously displays a window just like window capture, except you have the option of choosing a full screen application or a specific window. So if we go here, you can choose either a specific window or a full screen application. You can I choose specific window just so that way when I'm streaming, I can switch back and forth from OBS to see chat or whenever I do that, or I can just keep it full screen and then use my phone for chat just to read it. And another thing you can do for alerts, same thing with that. You can either use a window capture to display the actual box with the alerts in, or you can use browser to take in that URL and it will display it here. So that way, if any alert comes up, it'll just display here using browser. And then another thing with trying to get these sources to fit, you can hold down shift, and what it does is you can stretch it like this. Because if I just do regular this, what it does is it does it diagonally, you can't do it. But if I hold down shift, I can distort this however I need to. And if I use alt, what it does is it then cuts out part of what I'm doing. So it doesn't stretch it, but it cuts out part of the stuff that you need. So same thing with here. If I use alt, what you're going to see is that it's going to cut down this. And if I call it like that, then it's going to cut it out. So another thing you're wondering, well, what about the game capture? What if I want my game to display on top of the display? You can just do this and drag it up top. And that's how you get this here. So what you're seeing is whenever I try moving this, you can see that it's recording everything that I do. And if I switch this and I want to read chat for a little bit, I can. And even if I have it like this, what I can do is just have it just edited to the side so I can read chat right here, and I can also play the game right here as well. And as you can see, it's pretty much very, I wouldn't say laggy. It's not laggy at all. And it's pretty smooth. And it's pretty clean cut to be honest. And then if I wanted to, I can shift it and I can drag it wherever I need to and go from there. And pretty much that's it. And also one more thing, if you have a video capture device, and let's say if you are on, let's say PlayStation 4 and you want to connect it to your computer, you are going to need a capture software. What I recommend is the Elgato HD60S. I know that is very overpriced. Well, not overpriced. I'd say it's pretty generous, to be honest. There are really good capture cards that can also record Switch gameplay. I would say get the Elgato HD60S because I've been using it for a month now and I have been loving it to bits. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed today's OBS tutorial. I hope that anyone who is new to using this or anyone who has problems with it had any help with this or trying to set this all up. And if you did, make sure to leave a like. And until next time, I'm Major Michael. I'll see you guys next time. Thumbs up. This is just an outro.